I got a surprise visit this week from my nephew, and I wrote a song about his life and my relationship with him. Story of his life in 3 verses, basically. And used to write a lot of short stories, and I'm a much better short story writer than I am a songwriter or a singer, but you can't put short stories on YouTube, so here we are. This is called Song for MPK, and the melody is actually by Paul McCartney. He was in town last week, and I couldn't get this song out of my mind, so my apologies for the first-degree melody larceny. Again, song for MPK. My favorite boy in the world is in a cardboard box pretending, soaring high above the clouds. All my love to him I'm sending as I carry him around here in my arms. The coolest teen in the world, a car engine he's rebuilding, playing some Billy Joe when September ends he's singing, and I carry him around here in a frame. My favorite man in the world is in the cockpit being clever, soaring high above the clouds. All my love to him forever as I carry him around here in my heart. These days I carry him around here in my heart. My mom's almost crying, and I'm surprised I made it through that. So on my way from Cornerbrook, Newfoundland, driving the Trans-Canada Highway, I needed some musical accompaniment, and someone had bought me, back in the day when I used to be more of a rock and roller and I had a website and instrumental accompaniment, I used to do a lot of tragically hip songs, but this was actually Coke Machine Glow, which is an album by Gord Downie, a solo album by Gord Downie, and The Country of Miracles was his band, which is, an apt name for a Canadian band. This song is called You're Possessed, and I was a little bit possessed and obsessed, and I played it about 100 times. It goes like this. Go home, I'd be surprised if you could find it with those eyes up ahead. You'll get hit by a bus. It was the look in your eyes when you said something like, it's just us. Tears streaming down my cheeks. Won't you take me to Lansdowne Street, Fenway Park, man? It's not like they keep it hid. It was the look in your eyes when you said no one's gonna hurt me like you did. I'm rolling it over 1,000 times in the narrow flume of my mind. Oh, what I'd give for just one small caress. It was the look in your eyes when you said something like you're possessed. It was the look in your eyes when you said something like you're obsessed. Are we in St. John's yet? So this is a song I wrote in 2010, and I added 1 verse recently. It's actually my own melody this time, and my own lyrics. It's about artists and bands that I like, and I mentioned maybe 10 of them there, so a fun game to play at home. Can you recognize the 10 references, and maybe get out your phonograph and spin some of these. It's called History of Rock and Roll. Little Richard said, "Good golly, miss, John asked us to imagine this. The guess who told us she had come undone. This is the history of rock and roll, the music that has saved my soul. And this is just my way of saying thank you to the people who sang songs to help us break through." Tragically hip to show courageousness, Eddie Vedder wanted one last kiss. Who were the ones who simply can't explain? This is the history of rock and roll, the music that has saved my soul. And this is just my way of saying thank you to the people who sang songs to help us break through. Ron Sexsmith showed us how love shines. Costello moves us every time. Kurt Cobain asked us where we slept last night. The rest of us cannot give up the fight. This is the history of rock and roll, the music that has saved my soul. And this is just my way of saying thank you to the people who sang songs to help us break through. Now I know I've only named a few, and you will have your favorites too. Before I go, I have to scream Hugh Dillon for the songs he sang while Chris and I were chillin'. This is the history of rock and roll, the music that has saved my soul. And this is just my way of saying thank you to the people who sang songs to help us break through. Now this last one, beautiful Ron Sexsmith song with some very high notes that are too high for me. And so hopefully when I'm done with it, it'll still be somewhat of a beautiful song. It's called Deepens with Time. I hear my mother's voice calling me home, across a field so long ago. It still rings in my mind. It deepens with time. I feel my brother's hand crossing the street, and when I'm lost it comforts me. Now your hand is in mine. It deepens with time. It deepens with time. These precious memories, how they wound and leave a scar. Sweeten like wine, hanging over our lives like the moon and stars. Makes us who we are, and it deepens with time. I hear a song I used to know, playing on my spirit's radio, and I still know every line. It has deepened with time. Lying in bed, talking till 3, telling each other our hopes and dreams, with our fingers entwined. It deepens with time. It deepens with time. These precious memories, how they wound and leave a scar. Sweeten like wine, hanging over our lives like the moon and stars. Makes us who we are, and it deepens with time. And through our hands it slips away, and through our hair a touch of gray, and in the back of our minds it deepens with time. Yes, in the back of our minds it deepens with time.